This might be the roughest ATV I've ever bought. And what's crazy is that this thing is actually a 2012 Honda Rancher 420. These typically sell for like $4,000 in my area. But this one is just beat on. It is absolutely horrible. Check out the plastics. Somebody painted all the plastics with like a multicolor paint job. So you've got silver, black, and gold. It looks absolutely horrible. You can see the red coming through. It's just peeling off. It looks like bed liner paint. The seat's brand new. That's the only good thing about this machine. And it does have the key, which is pretty lucky. But they even painted the engine. They painted that silver. I mean, it looks horrible. And then check out the frame here. It is absolutely destroyed. It looks like this thing sat in water for like years and years and years. Everything is rusted out. I mean, it is absolutely horrible. Look at that paint job. They cut the rack off in the back. It is just terrible. Look at all the rust. And this is a 2012. It's not even that old. I don't know how it got this bad, but it did. Obviously, this thing does not run. I picked this thing up for 300 bucks. The seller said he got this thing on trade and knew nothing about it, of course, right? So I am going into this thing blind. I figured for 300 bucks, what's the worst that can happen? But I mean, it is absolutely horrible. I've never seen one this bad, especially a 2012. You almost have to try to make it look this bad. I don't know if this thing was stolen at one point or what. I can't find the VIN on it anywhere. I'm guessing it's just rusted off. Usually they're like up here on the frame, but if you look at the frame, there's no way you're gonna find the VIN anywhere on here. For 300 bucks, I figured we'd take the chance and try to get this one running today. You can see all the stickers were just painted right over. All the badges here painted right over. I don't know if the dash works. There's no battery in it. Nothing's hooked up. This one is electric shift, unfortunately, so yeah, there's no way that's gonna work either. But you never know, we might get lucky on this one. You gotta risk it for the biscuit. Today's goal is obviously gonna be to try to get this thing up, running, and driving. But I mean, it is extremely rough, so this one's gonna be a challenge. Alright, so this thing is actually 4x4 and fuel injected. There isn't power steering on it, but that's probably a good thing, otherwise I think that would be locked up. We're going to do a couple close-up shots of it just so you guys can see how bad it really is. So here is the close-up of the paint, and this is what it looks like on the whole machine. So check that out. You can see it's peeling, multicolored. They even painted the gas cap. They painted all the way up here. Luckily they got spray on the gauge as well, so if it's not covered up. And the tires are all painted. You can see. Rims are painted. And then here's the rust. Let's get close up with that. That's what the whole frame looks like. You can see that's really nice. I mean, it is really bad. They even painted the underside of the fenders. Fun. Everything is painted. Look how rusty everything is in there. That's the fuel injection unit. That looks like that's gonna be fun to clean out. And the pipe, they painted silver. And that's all rotting out and rusting away. And then the rack is all cut off. And yeah, so this one's gonna be fun. Probably the worst one I've ever seen. So let's get this thing in the garage and see if we can make a miracle happen today. Well, we got this thing in the garage. Let's start digging into it. So I think the first thing we're gonna check is the oil. Looks like that's right over here. Looks like the cap was even painted. Oh, that was really loose on there. Uh-oh. Ooh. Looks like some snow was on there. Looks like there's some water mixed with the oil. Alright, let me just take a look with a flashlight down here. That is... looks empty. What the heck? Maybe nothing was coming up on the dipstick. Let's stick this guy down there. Oh boy. That's actually empty. That is completely empty. I'm not seeing anything in there. Yeah, that's dry. That is crazy. Well, that's not good. So oil is dry. We're off to a pretty bad start there. What we're gonna do right away, I think, is just check and see that oil and see what that looks like. We're gonna drain it. Looks like there's the bolt right there. So let's drain it and see if there's actually anything in there. See if we can get anything. Oh, man. Should be interesting. See if anything comes out of here. Are you serious right now? Completely dry. Wow. Not a single drop of oil in there. Uh-oh. Alright, so the oil capacity for 2012 Honda Rancher 420 is going to be almost 3 quarts of oil. We are going to put in one right away and see if it leaks out. I don't really know why it would have no oil in it. Doesn't really make sense unless the guy was going to completely take out the engine and rebuild it or something. But I don't think I've ever seen a machine sold with no oil in it at all. Not even a drip, so it's been dry for a long time. Not a good sign. And then we'll put the rest in when we try to attempt to start this thing today. I don't get why there's nothing in here. Well, we're in it now. We're in it for $8. All right, we're gonna let that sit for a little bit, see if it leaks out. In the meantime, we're gonna check everything else. Let's see if there's gas in it. Oh, there's some gas in there. Oh boy. Looks like the breather hose is clogged up there. I'm guessing this thing has a pump. Here's the petcock here. I don't know if it's on reserve or on right now. There's no label anywhere. Yeah, it looks like the fuel pump is right there. What are the chances that that actually works? Probably pretty slim. All right, I think what we're gonna do is take off the seat, try to hook up a battery, and we'll just see if anything turns on here. The seat's pretty nice. Brand new. Not too bad. All right, missing the air filter completely. There's the coil. Looks like that was taped up at one point. I just don't get how this got so bad. Ooh, it looks like that was melted. Right there. Alright, so battery's gonna go right here. What's this thing? Not sure. We've got the fuse box here. We can check right away. Oh, gosh. Looks like it's missing a fuse there. Let's see. We've got the 10 amp, the red one is going to be ignition. We've got the 15 amp, the blue one, for the fan. And then the other 10 amp is going to be light. And then the other 10 amp is going to be accessories, that one right there. And then you get your 30 amp one here. It's going to be main 2. And then the 30 amp here is going to be main 1. And those all look to be intact. But we'll see if anything lights up when we hook up a battery. We've got the positive wire here. And that looks like that's going to the solenoid. Make sure that's all hooked up right before we fry the whole system here. That's hooked up to one terminal. And then this one looks like it goes down to the starter. That's correct. And then it's got the positive going down from here to a fuse. We're going to check here. That goes down to the wiring harness to the ignition, I'm guessing. And then we've got the negative wire here. I believe that goes to ground. Let's just kind of follow that down and see if there's a good ground that it's going to. Where is it? Right here. This is unhooked. Yep, the ground wire is right there. Going to the engine. So I think that's going to be fine. Oh, just a plug. There's no fuse. Thought for sure there'd be a main fuse there, but it must be in the actual fuse box here. Alright, get that in there. Alright. Nope. All right, moment of truth. Will it light up? Oh, fuel pump turned on. Gauge is working. Says neutral on the dash here. Wow, looks like 4x4 is on. Yep. Let's see how many hours. Oh, only 1,918 miles. That is crazy. 652 hours. Wow, that's actually low mileage. Wow. Lights are working? No way. Let's see if the 4x4 works. Oh, look at that. That's even working. I'm gonna put it in 2-wheel drive for now. High and low don't appear to be working. Lights on and off don't work. Huh. Hey, at least something lit up. All right. Does it crank? New. It does not crank. Well, that's a problem. Does not crank at all. Is there a kill switch on here? Oh, look at all these wires, they're all broken. Oh, heard something going. Oh, there we go. All of a sudden just started working. That is crazy. Ooh. Getting fried here. I think we're gonna clean up the connections here and here. They're starting to fry the battery there. So everything is somewhat working. I can't believe the fuel pump sounded like it was working as well. But yeah, I think these are all really corroded in there. Let's clean those up a bit. See if that makes a difference. And we're gonna take off all the connections. Let's just disconnect this whole thing and try working on it. You can see, not making much contact there. We're gonna go clean that up with the wire wheel. All right, we got that one cleaned up. We got that one cleaned up, looking good. Now I should be making a good connection there. Clean this peg off. Got the other one, taking that off, we can clean that up. That one doesn't look too bad. Around. .7. See, we're getting to this peg here. .7. See, we're getting a good ground. 12.7. Getting a good ground. See if it still smokes when we push the start button here. Just clicking now. Might be that starter that's going. We're gonna try to pull the pull cord here. Get it going a little bit. try taking out that spark plug. Alright, let's try crossing the terminal here. I guess a starter. Yeah. So that starter is most likely fried. Not locked up. Yeah, that starter's not working now. Ooh, look what I see. Oil's dripping everywhere on this thing. Where the heck is that coming from? Well, that's why we had no oil. It's dripping everywhere. That's not good. What the heck? Is there a hole somewhere? Well, it's really hard to tell with the oil dripping. We might have to wait for that to calm down a little bit, but it looks like there's a crack right in here where that oil is coming from. So right there's a big crack. Not sure what that would be from, but that's why there's no oil in it. That can probably be patched with JB Weld if we can find it for the time being. But yeah, right now it's not holding any oil. So we're gonna let that drain out and then try to patch that. But yeah, this thing is just getting worse and worse as we look into it. And I kind of figured it would. Alright, let's try to find the spark plug. I'll try to get that out and see if this engine rotates over a little bit smoother without that plug in there. I'd like to get this starter to work. Plug is right here. Alright, get our spark plug boot off of here. Alright. Spark plug's tight. See what the plug looks like. Oh, the little cap came off. Doesn't look horrible. What kind of plug? BR7ES plug. Alright, we're gonna get some penetrating oil down here. This thing's been dry for a very long time. Squirt a bunch of that down there. A little cocktail. That and some Marble Mystery Oil. Get that cylinder all lubed up here. There we go. Alright, we're gonna see if it turns over now. Still smoking out there. Alright, spins over a lot better. Let's just keep doing that for a little bit, get that starter working better. I'm guessing the starter is all rusty. No more smoke from the battery. Alright, that's working a lot better now. I think that starter just had some corrosion, I'm guessing, on the brushes, preventing it from working. Yeah, see, now it instantly does it. And no smoking. Alright. I don't want to turn it over too much. We don't have much oil in the bottom end. But let's check if we have spark. There's no way, right? Alright. Here we go. Moment of truth. Nothing. No spark at all. Nothing, not even a little bit. Let's check the kill switch. No, that's working. Kill switch is definitely working. Alright, maybe we're not getting a good ground there. We're going to try right directly to the engine. See if we get any spark there. Nothing. Yeah, we're not getting anything at all. Alright, we're going to check the easy stuff first. So, what we're going to do is put a different spark plug in first, check that. Alright, here's a brand new plug. We're going to rule that out right away. Let's see if we got anything. Nothing. Nothing at all. So it's not the plug. Let's take a look at the boot here. Maybe that's just not making a good connection to the wire. I can see a little bit of the wire right there. So I don't think that was a problem. We'll cut it back. Let's chop 1/4 of an inch off. Alright, with the new plug still. See if we get anything. Nothing. Nothing at all. Alright, so that's not good. I checked the fuses. Ignition is right here. Check that one first. As you can see, it looks like it's connected. It probably is if the starter's working. But we're just gonna do a continuity test and see. Yep, so that fuse is good. 15's fan, 10 amp is light. Then the other 10 lamp is accessory. This one's a main one. We'll check that. Again, that looks good, but do a continuity test just to rule it out. Yeah, that's good. And then the next one's another main one. Doesn't hurt to check it. Yeah, that looks good. But we'll check it. Yep. So all the fuses look good, all the connections look good there. All right, I was kind of looking over the machine, trying to figure out why this thing does not have spark, and I saw something wrong that might be the culprit. So if you take a look at the throttle, see how that's stuck open? The wire's not going back, releasing the throttle. So right now, if you were to start this machine up, it'd rev to the moon because that's stuck open. And typically on the newer machines like this, 2012, I guess is newer, they have a throttle position sensor. And what that does, that sensor does, is it senses when the throttle gets stuck open and won't go back. And it will automatically cut spark and shut the machine down. It's a safety feature on these machines. Because if your thumb gets stuck, there's no way of stopping this machine because there's no clutch. So it automatically will shut it down. And I'm thinking that's what's happening. So let's try to follow that wire down, see where that leads to. Typically, it's going to be either on the carb or the fuel injection unit. So taking a look down here, I think it's right here. See how that plug-in goes into this box right here? And right now, there should be like a little trigger in there for a wire, and that wire is pulled up, so it should trigger that and send a signal down to the CDI saying, do not spark. All right, we have to get to that plug. So, kind of hard to get to. Let's see if I can get that unplugged here. Okay, there we go. So you can see the plug is now unplugged from the throttle position sensor on the fuel injector. Now, do we have spark? That's the question. There we go. Oh yeah. Look at that. Really good spark. All right, let's put the original spark plug back in. See if we still have spark. Cannot believe that was the problem. All right, that is pretty lucky. Oh yeah, great spark. Getting spark. I think if we fix that cable here, that should fix our problem. The manual states that the compression in 2012 Rancher 420 should be 73 PSI, right around that area. So if we're getting that, we should be good. This one has an automatic decompression release on it. So let's see what we get. We can't really do throttle open because the throttle is stuck. So we're just gonna have to do it without throttle open. All right, here we go. Turn it on. See if the starter works now that we have compression. I'd say that's right around perfect. We're at 50, 70, we're at 82 PSI. That is plenty of compression. All right, so we have spark now, we have compression. Now we're gonna be working on the fuel system. So this one has a fuel injector and a pump. So we gotta check those out, make sure it's getting fuel. There is gas in the tank. So what we can do is disconnect one of those lines and see if it's pumping to the actual fuel injector. All these bolts are all rusted on. Horrible. This should pull out now, I think. Disconnect the red and the black in the coil here. We're gonna mark that red, green. All right, now here is the main gas line coming into the fuel injector right there. So if we take this off, we should be able to see if that's squirting gas or not. We can actually, should be able to disconnect that pretty easily. And then right here is where the throttle cable goes in. I'm guessing that little lever is stuck. Oh, look at all that stuff in there. I think that's completely frozen in there. Yeah. All right, we don't want to break this. Okay. Finally. I'm probably gonna take the fuel injector out as well. Let's just see if that squirts any gas. Got a cup right here. Not seeing anything. We'll hook this up. Might need that hooked up. There we go. Yep, it's working. I cannot believe that pump is working. Gas looks a little old, but it's not horrible. There's no water in it, which is also very surprising. Huh, I cannot believe that pump works. Well, we're getting gas to the fuel injector. We just have to make sure that the fuel injector is not clogged up. Underneath here is where we're gonna find the fuel injector. Take this one off as well. Oh boy. Oh, that one almost broke off in there. Alright, so what we're looking for on this, just see if that nozzle is clogged. Let's see if I can get a good picture here. So there's little tiny holes in there. And we're going to see if that makes a good stream when we hook back up to the pump. Looks to be pretty clear. You can see the O-ring. It's pretty shot on that. Pretty brittle. Alright, we're getting fuel to the injector. Let's see if the injector's working. So with the injector, when you turn the machine, nothing squirts. But as soon as you hit the throttle, we should see a burst of fuel out of here. So let's see. We'll hit the start button. See how that's like a fine mist coming out of that injector? That's what you want. So very consistent, nice fine mist, just kind of mist the whole thing. So that injector is working great. So we can put everything back together there. We're gonna work on this throttle body here, try to get that cable freed up. All right, there's a screw holding that on. Oh man, that's gonna be stripped out completely. So you can see that screw right there is completely rusted out. I think that's the only one holding that on. I think we got this to budge free. Maybe not. Oh, there we go. I have to put a new screw in there. Look at that thing. Alright, the cover can come off finally. Yeah, she's pretty locked up. Squirt a bunch of penetrating oil in there so we can free it up. It's coming. Starting to free up here. Just work that back and forth. All right. Looks like that's working pretty good now. You can hear it go all the way back down. That took me probably 30 minutes to get that freed up. Now it's really smooth. So what I want to test out now, I want to see if we have spark now that this throttle is back to normal. See how that's all the way back now. I had to bend this wire a little bit too, that was kinked. All right, we're gonna plug in this sensor again. Right here. And we're gonna see if we have spark with that plugged in. Because I don't think the machine will run correctly if it's not plugged in. All right, get our coil hooked up here. Oh yeah. Well, at least we have spark. That fixed our spark problem. All right, so it looks like we've got everything hooked back up. Everything's working, nothing's leaking. All the sensors are now working. We have spark, we have compression, and we now have fuel. All right, now we're going to try to start this thing up, but in order to do that, we've got to have oil stay in the engine. Otherwise, we could risk blowing this whole thing up. So we think we have a crack on the case down here. Right now, all the oil is drained out again. So what we're gonna do is tip this machine over this way and kind of let it lean that way and see if we can fix up that crack with a little bit of gasket maker and JB Weld. Just so that we can see if this thing runs, and then we'll try to weld it up. Before we do that, we need to drain all the gas out. This is old gas anyway, so we'll siphon that out, and then hopefully we can tip this thing over and find out where that crack is coming from. Alright, we're gonna try to tip this thing over, see what happens. Alright, lift with the legs. Alright, so leaking oil out of there. We're gonna try to clean this area up. I think that's the crack right there though. Bracket. Oh yeah. That is a pretty big crack. Holy man. That's not good. Oh boy. That is not good at all. So you can see the crack starts right here. And it goes all the way. You guys can see it goes all the way up there. See, there's a crack right there. And that goes all the way down there. All the way down to here. So there's a massive crack in this thing. And it goes all the way up there. Oh man, is that bad? It goes all the way up to there. And it crack all the way down. So you can see where it's seeping out right here. That's where the crack starts. Curls all the way up. Goes all the way up to there. So it's like a probably an 8-inch crack. That is not good at all. I don't know if that can be fixed. That is absolutely horrible. But what we're gonna do is just clean it off, grind a little bit of that down, and then try to put some gasket maker to see if that'll at least hold it for a little bit. Just so that we can get oil in there. While we're down here, check out the rust. This is the frame. Oh, that is insane. Just breaking apart. I mean, that is crazy. Yeah, she's a little rough, huh? Not good. Big flakes coming up. Alright, we've got our gasket maker here. Let's start adding some of that to it. Looks like a little bit of oil still coming out of that crack. But we're just trying to seal this up enough to where we can add oil to it. So if we can get it to seal, we can at least hear it start. I think. We'll hold up here. I don't know if it will. And that crack was really high up here. Alright, I think the crack is all covered. You can see just how big that crack is. Basically the whole length of the engine here. So we're gonna wait for that gasket maker to dry, and then we'll see if it holds oil at all. If we have a small leak, that's fine, but I just want it to be pumping up to the top end. All right, it's been a couple hours here, and gasket maker's all dry, looking good. You can see nice and hardened up there. This is pretty dry. So we're gonna see if this thing holds oil and if it fires up here. So let's get this thing tipped back over, get 3 quarts of oil in it, see what happens. All right, let's get the spark plug in first. That way if the oil seeps out right away, we can at least attempt to fire it up right away. Let's see. I'm gonna clear that line off. Looks like that's melted shut right here. Guessing from the exhaust. I'm guessing it won't hold very long, but you never know, that gasket maker's pretty good. Fuel resistant, oil resistant, basically all chemical resistant. So nothing can really penetrate it. I'm just hoping it's hardened up enough. Let's see. So far it's holding. I'm sure as soon as you put this thing into drive, it's gonna crack that engine case back open. Because I'm not sure why it cracked in the first place. Maybe water got in there and it froze and cracked. I don't know. All right, all 3 quarts are in. Right to the top. Look at that, perfect. All right, here we go. We've got fresh fuel, fresh oil. We know we're getting good spark. We know we have compression. And we know that the fuel injector's working. So let's see if she fires up. I'm guessing the gas is gonna blow right out and oil's gonna drip everywhere, but we'll try it. Let's see what happens. That thing fired up instantly. Holy cow. So far no leaking. Let's see if the smoke stops here. Remember, we put oil down the cylinder. We're hoping the rings free up and it stops smoking. Oh, it's smoking pretty good. Gives you a couple revs here. half bad. Still smoking though. See any oil dripping yet. No codes coming up. It's running a tad lean because the air filter isn't on there. That's why you hear it kind of backfiring there a little bit. Holding, not leaking at all. Wow. Cannot believe it. Oh, it stopped smoking. There we go. Well, sounds pretty good. Sounds really good. I cannot believe that thing fired up instantly like that. Huh. That is just crazy. It is a Honda though, they always run. There's just like one tiny drop of oil right there coming from it. But overall, it looks like it's holding pretty good. Not bad. We'll see when we start driving it though. So we're gonna put everything back together. The one plastic piece and the seat, and we'll see if this thing moves. Who thinks the electric shift's gonna work? All right, let's just for testing purposes, see if it moves in the garage here before oil pours all over my driveway. See what happens. Leaking yet. Reverse though was not working. Reverse is right here. It's not going down. A little penetrating oil on there. Let's see if we can get that freed up here. There we go. That doesn't sound good. See if 4x4 works. Running pretty good. Not too bad for 300 bucks. See if it's leaking here. Oh yeah, it's leaking a little bit. Not horrible. I cannot believe this thing actually moves. Goes through all the gears just fine. Reverse works. Idle was set a little bit high, so shifting was a little tricky. But if you held in the front brake, the rear brake doesn't work, and you shifted, you eventually got to shift. So if we got the idle turned down, it would shift a lot smoother. But I mean, it revs out completely, has tons of power. It's running great. That gasket maker fix is leaking a little bit. We hit some jumps with it, and you can see now it's leaking pretty good out of there. So I think if we let that dry overnight, it would have worked, but we were kind of in a rush, and I only let it dry a couple hours, so that's probably why I failed. But maybe JB Weld too might fix it for a temporary fix until we can get it welded up. But at least we were able to ride it and test drive it and make sure that it ran good. That was the goal. So is this thing worth tearing down the cases and fixing them? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Because we would need new cases for it. It's not smoking, so it doesn't need a new top end, but if we're in there, we'd probably put a new top end in anyway. Or should we try to weld it up the way it is? Drain all the oil out of it and attempt to weld that crack up. I don't know. I don't know what you can do with that. Or just JB weld it and keep this one at the land. I do not know what the best option is. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. You know, the rest of the machine is so rough. Like, is it actually worth fixing up right? I mean, all the plastics are junk. The rack is off of it. The rear brake doesn't work. The parking brake over here doesn't work. All rusted out. I mean, it's really, really rough. Missing the cap here. Missing the side panels here. The frame is completely rusted out. You know, is it worth putting the money into and rebuilding the whole engine? I don't think it is. But let me know what you guys want me to do in the comments. This might be a good beater quad and just, you know, run it as it is and run it as long as you can like this. But the goal for today was to get this thing up, running and driving, which we did. So we're gonna see what we do with this one. It's a bummer it's so rough cosmetically, otherwise I'd probably just fix it right up and this would be a great machine. But yeah, everything is just really, really rough on it, unfortunately. So hopefully you guys enjoyed picking up this 2012 Rancher 420, diagnosing it, hearing it fire up for the first time, and then taking it for the first ride. I definitely did not think this thing was going to start up today. And I definitely did not think this thing was going to move. I thought for sure this would not shift with the electric shift. These always have problems. With this thing being so rusty and basically falling apart, I thought no way. But it turned out to be a pretty decent one, besides the crack in the case. Not too bad for 300 bucks. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for next video. And until next time, we are out.